proceedings takes place proper. Good morning.
memory at David Local Government in Kogi State. All right, on behalf of the Senate, I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Welcome to the Senate. Please settle down. Dear colleagues, birthday announcements. 16th of February was the birthday of Jeremiah Timbok Husseini. Also, Senator Ben Bruce Murray had his birthday on the 18th. Senator Danjumala had his birthday on the 18th. On behalf of the Senate, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of you for attaining yet a new age. We wish you all the best as you continue to serve Nigeria. May God bless you with good health and be gracious unto you. Congratulations and happy birthday once more.
petition and for the Senate to direct the AGIS to replace the petitioner's plots of land without further delay. I hereby submit, sir.
Yeah, go ahead and lay it. Very well, thank you. It's referred to the Committee on Ethics and Petitions to report back in 2 weeks. Say, leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first business of the day is the presentation of an executive bill.
Point of order, Senator Bukaraba.
Sir, distinguished colleagues, I come under order 42 and 52. If you insist, I read, sir. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting. The President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. I think this, I have already complied with that.
Go ahead. Distinguished colleagues, Senator Bukaraba had raised the issue of the missing girls in Yobe, and is seeking your permission to take the motion today. Is it wish of the Senate that we do take this motion today? Thank you. Go ahead.
Sir, on Monday, the 20th of February 2018, some suspected Boko Haram insurgents attacked Government Girls Technical College, Dapchi Bursari local government area of Yobe State. Concerned that out of the 926 female students who ran into the bush, 46 are still missing.
Order!
But of course, this is a big improvement from the earlier stage when the children, all the school children went into the bush. There was 0 number in the school. But on a few hours later, when there was a head count, 810 of them have come back. And as of yesterday evening, 46 girls are still missing. I understand the governor of Yobe State has already gotten the military to deploy military and the police. They are all still working on it, but as of yesterday, 46 are still missing. There was no case of killing. Not a single body was found anywhere. Nobody is sure about whether it was an abduction or some of these girls who came from the locality who went home immediately this thing happened have not yet come back to school. But these are yet to be confirmed. The federal government has already sent a high-powered delegation of 3 ministers to go and stay in Damaturu and report to Mr. President on a continuing basis until this matter is resolved completely. So it is now my wish that we resolve by condemning the attack on the school and the resurgence of insurgency, and then to urge the federal government to urgently recover through the military, of course, girls, not to repeat the Chibok girls' experience in Borno State earlier. So, Mr. President, sir, this is the crux of the matter, and I want us to look at these 2 resolutions this morning. I so move, sir.
Okay, thank you. Say, leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, what happened was unfortunate, and after the Chibok incident, it was the wish of every Nigerian, indeed the entire international community, prayed and hoped that this kind of incident doesn't happen again in Nigeria. We are fighting an insurgency, and therefore sometimes this kind of thing could happen, and it did. I want to, at this point, commend Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, for immediately taking action by directing the armed forces to move into Yobe to ensure that Boko Haram did not run away with any single girl from Dapchi. I want to also commend the governor of Yobe State, Governor Ibrahim Gaidam, for ensuring that parents were comforted, for sending officials of the Ministry of Education to go around the families and ensure that they took head counts of the girls from that school. Mr. President, what happened is a lesson to us that Boko Haram sees girls or women as valued targets. What they did in Chibok earned them some funds because negotiations were held somehow and they got a lot of money. Now the lesson is we need to be extra careful and take extraordinary measures in protecting our schools, especially girls' schools in those areas, in those states, especially Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa. There used to be a program called Safe School, which was started in the last administration. I don't know where that program is today, but I'm sure our Committee on Education should find out and could easily know the status of that program, because it was an internationally funded program protecting our schools to ensure that our children are not abducted or killed. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, Yobe State spent over 15 billion naira supporting our security agencies posted to our state. This is an indication that the state governments are working in partnership, collaboration, and cooperation with federal government. I want to urge our states to continue to do that, but the federal government should also do the needful, that our states are not those kind of states that get a lot of money, and therefore such funds should be refunded to them so that we continue to provide the kind of infrastructure in our educational institutions that will protect our students and our citizens. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy our colleagues have given a wonderful support for the motion moved by Senator Abukaraba Ibrahim. Thank you very much.
Hassan Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm Mohammed Hassan, Yobe South Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, let me use this opportunity to give a little background of what is going on in Yobe State. You will recall in 2013, a secondary school in Potiskum was attacked, where over 70 children were killed. Again, a year after, another secondary school in Mamudo was attacked, where school children were slaughtered. There was another attack in Yadimbuni, where school students were attacked. The state university too was attacked, and now we have this one. Mr. President, this is quite disheartening to hear, with due respect to Senator Ahmed Lawan, to commend the state government for serially failing to protect our students. This is the primary responsibility of government, to protect the lives and property of its citizens. The state government of Yobe has serially failed in this regard. It has abdicated its primary responsibility in doing that. Again, Mr. President, you will be...
Your leader, hold on, yeah. Hold on a bit. Hold on. Hassan, hold on. Point of order.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I raise a point of order 7. Mr. President, with your permission,
Go ahead.
Mr. President, no senator shall impute improper motives to any other senator. Mr. President, how I wish that I didn't have to come under any order to react to what my brother and colleague said. Mr. President, I have my reasons for commending the President, for commending the Governor and Government of Yobe State. If my colleague doesn't see those reasons and he has his own perspective, he doesn't have to refer to me that what I said is not in order or in contravention of the facts. I have my facts, he has his facts. I will advise that he states his facts without making reference to me, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Certainly that, unless I didn't hear him well, he wasn't talking, he didn't mention you. I think he was only talking about the governor. So he said no senator shall impute improper motive to any other. But if he had mentioned you, so I think you should withdraw that aspect. So concentrate on what you want to say. Senior leader is entitled to praise the government, and you are also entitled to condemn them. This is the theater of democracy.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that good protection. Mr. President, as I was saying, these incidents that I've narrated, these 5 incidents that I've narrated, all happened under the watch of this present governor. And that is why I'm saying he does not deserve any form of appreciation or whatever. You see, Mr. President, as I speak to you, this incident happened 4 days ago. As I speak with you now, not a single official statement came out of this state government. There is nothing. So what kind of government do we have in that state? This is the question I'm asking. School children have been abducted or are missing. There is no record. You'll be here getting conflicting reports. Today, the police would say 67 missing. Another agency of government will say this. As I speak to you, there is no official statement from the state government. And that is why I strongly feel that the state government has abdicated this primary responsibility of protecting the lives and property of the citizens of Yobe State. Thank you, Mr. President.
So Lidani.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joshua Lidani. I represent from the South. I would like to support the motion by Senator Bukar Abba Ibrahim concerning the kidnapping of the attack on the secondary school. But I have to differ with him in respect to the manner in which this thing was carried out. The Chibok incidents ought to have given us a signal, especially those in the states that are concerned, that is Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, that schools, secondary schools, are most vulnerable, especially girls' schools. You know what happened during the Chibok girls' abduction, and we ought to take proactive measures in order to ensure that schools, especially girls' schools, are well protected. And therefore, we have observed of recent that this spate of kidnappings happen whenever the Boko Haram are being severely attacked or they are on the run. They will devise a means of going to abduct people so that they will negotiate with the federal government for ransom. It happened with the recent abduction of University of Maiduguri staff who are on an exploration. They were abducted, the government negotiated with them, and they got money. And now they have been empowered. The same thing with the abduction of the police officers' wives, police officers' wives. Federal government went and negotiated with them, and they were given money, and that has emboldened them. I think we need to be very proactive in this case, Mr. President, because the idea of sitting down to always negotiating and pay ransom for this abduction, we are emboldening and empowering the Boko Haram elements so that they will continue to do more. This may not be the end of it, because after this, I'm sure eventually, if they have abducted these girls, they demand for ransom. And if ransom is paid, it means they will continue to engage in this kind of attack. But the most worrisome aspect, Mr. President, is the fact that at times like this, whenever we are faced with this kind of distressing situation, the nation ought to hear from the president. He ought to say something. Recently, when there were killings in the United States in a school, the president himself went to that school to sympathize with the students, to sympathize with the parents, and to sympathize with the nation. But here, all along, we have had all this since the time of the Chibok girls. We have had killings, we have had abductions, we have had all kinds of sad things happening. But Mr. President ought to emphasize, he ought to utter words of sympathy. He ought to mourn with the nation, he ought to mourn with the parents. He ought to say a word, he ought to come on television and say one thing or the other that will calm nerves, that will bring comfort to those who are in distress. I think if Mr. President can do that, it will go a long way in calming nerves. It will go a long way in people having the feeling that Mr. President really identifies with their condition, with their state of mourning. So I think the lesson to be learned here is whenever we are faced with this kind of situation, Mr. President ought to make a statement. He ought to say something. He ought to visit. If he cannot visit, he ought to say something so that he will sympathize with the people that are in distress. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, distinguished colleagues, I just want to appeal because this matter, the Senator Bukrama wanted to keep it simple. He wanted to come under order 43. He later changed his mind and brought order 42 and 52. So I think we should just quickly go to the prayer so that we don't overstretch the matter. I know a lot of people would like to speak. So please, I just want to make this appeal. And in some religion also say that we send our deep concern to the government and people of Yobe State. We are also aware that the military and indeed the police are overstretched to their limits at this period of national insecurity. That's what makes a stronger case for another level of policing, because if you are not asking the military and the police to provide security at all the schools, primary and secondary, they cannot have the number to do so. So there must be another level of policing that will be able to complement the federal government security infrastructure in order to be able to secure all parts of Nigeria and all the schools. So having said this, if you want to, can go straight to the prayers. Question. So let's take the clarification from the mover of the motion.
The clarification is that immediately Mr. President knew about this incident, he sent 3 of his most senior ministers to Yobe to go and continue reporting to him on regular basis. And the difference is that not a single person has so far been killed. The abduction is yet not confirmed. 46, wait, what do you mean 46? You are just one person, 46 people are missing. You one person, you are sitting down and enjoying this privilege. 46 people are missing. So why should I bring it here? If we lost you, couldn't we be talking about you now? So sir, 46 are missing quite all right, but ministers are on the ground, the military are on the ground, the police are on the ground, the governor is on the ground. They're still continuing with the investigation. This is basically for your...
So you see why I say we should go to the prayers. Because the mover of the motion wants the matter to be kept as low as possible. So prayer 1, condemn the attack on the school and the resurgence of insurgency. Those who support this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. Let's have it. Prayer 2, all the federal government to urgently recover the girls, not to repeat the Chibok girls' experience. Those who support this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senior leader. Point of order, Sabi.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. Dr. Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, Niger North. Mr. President, I want to come under Order 43. with your permission, or I think it's a very familiar order. Do I have to?
Go ahead. No, just go ahead. We are faster to sit. That's personal explanation, right? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I came a little late, and I got information to the effect that my good brother, distinguished Senator Malam Ali Wakil, MNI, made some comments alluding to the fact that as the spokesman of this Senate, I led some people to the press or media center to make some comments with respect to the issue of the Northern Senators Forum. I want to make it categorically clear, as the spokesman of the Senate, I've always tried to remain very focused on defending the institution of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yesterday, I went to the media center as part of my statutory responsibility to brief the Senate press corps on happenings within the Senate. And of course, I gave them brief on the various bills, and specifically, I also spoke about the bill I sponsored on the open distance learning, and raised the issue to the effect that the last time some people made some comments, and I remember very vividly, I came under scrutiny on behalf of the Senate and, with respect to that controversy issue, and I said the fact that the culprit, my brother, distinguished Senator Omo Agege, came to the floor to apologize, vindicated the fact that whatever we do in the Senate, we try to stand on the path of integrity. Now, Senator Shehu Sani and Senator Misau followed me, as I normally do. Many of you here will testify that sometimes I'll call you, please can you join me as I do the press briefing. They joined me, and in the process, they asked him some questions and he responded, having to do with Northern Senators Forum. But yesterday, I made it very clear that I'm not holding brief for Northern Senators Forum, even though I'm a member. But I'm here to speak for the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The clips are there, and if there's anybody who has any information to the contrary, I challenge him to bring that clip out. I was very emphatic that I stand to speak for the Senate, and that is why in many instances I try to put away my personal comments on issues, because it will be difficult for people to know when I'm making personal comments and when I'm speaking on behalf of the Senate. I think it has become necessary for me to make this clarification.
All right, thank you for the clarification. State leader.
Mr. President,
Order.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues.
Daddy.
The first business of the day is the presentation of an executive bill standing in my name on the Nigeria Natural Medicine Development Agency Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigeria Natural Medicine Development Agency Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, SB 594, first reading.
The Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, first reading taken. State leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second business of the day is the presentation of a House bill standing in my name on the Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2018. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, HB 1022, first reading.
Dear colleagues, Institute of Environmental Practitioners of Nigeria Establishment, etc. Bill 2018, first reading taken. State leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Jibrin Barau on the Education National Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act Cap E3 LFN 2004 Amendment Bill 2018. Mr. President, may I wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Education, National Minimum Standard and Establishment of Institution Act, Cap E3, LFN 2004, Amendment B 2018, SB 559, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Education, National Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act, Cap E3, Laws of the Federation 2004, Amendment B 2018, SB 559, first reading taken. Mr. Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Bola and Dada on the bank's account opening miscellaneous provisions bill 2018. Mr. President, may I wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Banks Account Opening Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2018, SB 564, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Banks Account Opening Miscellaneous Provisions Bill 2018, SB 564, first reading taken. Mr. Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the Payment Systems Management Bill 2018. Mr. President, may we to invite Senator Rafiu Adebayo, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the Senate to receive the report.
Senator Rafiu Adebayo.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Rafiu Adebayo Ibrahim. I represent Kwara South. Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate do receive the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions on the Payment System Management Bill 2018, SB 5 and SB 268. I so move.
Senator Odua.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dear colleagues, I rise to support that the Senate adopts the report on Committee of Banking and Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Bill 208, SB 5 and 268. I so submit.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support that Senate do not receive this report, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We proceed to lay the report. Very well, thank you. Mr. Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the first to third order of the day are House bills concurrence as listed on the order paper. Distinguished senators will recall that these bills were read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, the 13th of February 2018 and Tuesday, 16th of January 2017, respectively. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the amendments, I will use a single lead debate on these bills. Can I proceed?
Go ahead.
Mr. President, my respected and very distinguished colleagues, permit me to lead the debate on the following bills from the House of Representatives for the concurrence of the Senate. The bills are: 1. National Agricultural Seeds Council Bill 2018, HB 472. 2. Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of Nigeria Bill 2018, HB 973. And 3. National Security Agencies Protection of Officers Identity Bill 2018, HB 830. The National Agricultural Seeds Council Bill 2018 was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, the 13th of February 2018. This bill seeks to promote and stimulate the development of a dependable seed industry, regulate and control the registration of released varieties, protect the farmers from the sales of poor quality seeds, facilitate the production and marketing of high quality seeds in Nigeria, and provide legal backing for official testing, certification, sales, importation, exportation, and use of seed. The new bill seeks to promote greater private sector participation in the seed subsector in line with the current agricultural seed policy, globalization, and export trade promotion. The Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of Nigeria Bill 2018 was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, the 13th of February 2018. This bill seeks to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, CILT, Nigeria, charged with the responsibility for, amongst other things, to determine the standards of knowledge, skill, and qualification of persons seeking to become registered professionals, and, among other things, 1. Certifying and licensing persons, bodies wishing to practice as logisticians and or transporters. 2. Holding and maintaining a register of logistics and transport professionals and practitioners in Nigeria. 3. Promoting the study and practice of the art and science of logistics and transport in all ramifications. And 4, ensuring supply of quality personnel to the industry. 5, establishing, maintaining, and upholding the ethics of professional practice in logistics and transport. 6, keeping qualified individuals professionally up to date throughout their career. 7, establishing, promoting, and monitoring standards of professional practice. 8, conducting, encouraging, and sponsoring research in the field of logistics and transport. 9, accrediting reputable training providers to train students for the institute's examinations. And 10, providing advisory and advocacy services in logistics and transport. The National Security Agency's Protection of Officers Identity Bill 2018 was read the first time in this chamber on Tuesday, the 16th of January 2018. The bill seeks to protect the identity of officers of the national security agencies, its agents, informants, sources, and other classified information from unauthorized disclosure, as well as to protect intelligence facilities, installations, and equipment against unauthorized access and prescribed penalties for violation of its provisions. Mr. President, my very well-respected colleagues, these bills are not controversial, and having been subjected to rigorous scrutiny and public hearings in the House of Representatives, I urge you all to support their second reading. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, these are House bills and they are quite straightforward. In the absence of further comment, I will put the question. Those in support that this bill be raised second time, say aye. Those against saying nay, the ayes have it. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Agricultural Seed Council and for related matters 2018, second reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Agricultural Seeds Council and for related matters 2018, second reading taken. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, CILT of Nigeria, with responsibility, among others, for determining the standards of knowledge, skill, and qualification for persons seeking to become registered professionals and practitioners in logistics and transport in Nigeria, and licensing and regulating the practice of logistics and transport in all ramifications and for related matters, 2018, second reading.
Dear colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of Nigeria with responsibility, among others, for determining the standards of knowledge, skill, and qualification for persons seeking to become registered professionals and practitioners in logistics and transport in Nigeria, and licensing and regulating the practice of logistics and transport in all ramifications and for related matters, 2018, second reading taken. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the protection of the identity of officers, agents, sources of information, informants, and method of operation of national security agencies from unlawful disclosure and to protect its establishments, facilities, and equipment against unauthorized access and to provide for the promotion and enhancement of national security and for related matters, 2018, second reading.
Dear colleagues, a bill for an act to provide for the protection of the identity of officers, agents, sources of information, informants, and method of operation of national security agencies from unlawful disclosure and to protect its establishment, facilities, and equipment against unauthorized access and to provide for the promotion and enhancement of national security and for related matters, 2018, second reading taken. State Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, in accordance with order 81/1, I will move a motion for the bills to be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Honorable Leader.
The President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
Dear colleagues, those in support of the motion that the Senate now resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the report, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Dear colleagues, we're taking the first one, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Agricultural Seeds Council and for related matters. Those in support that clause 1 start part of the bill, say aye. Those in support that clause 1 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in support that clause 2 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3 and 4. Those in support of clauses 3 and 4 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 5, 6, and 7. Those in support of clauses 5, 6, and 7 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 8, 9, and 10. Those in support of clauses 8, 9, and 10 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11 and 12 are page 8. Those in support of clauses 11 and 12 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 13, 14, and 15. Those in support of clauses 13, 14, and 15 start part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 16, 17, and 18 at page 10. Those support that clause 16, 17, and 18, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 19, 20, and 21 at page 11. Those support that clauses 19, 20, and 21, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 22, 23, and 24 at page 12. Those in support that clauses 22, 23, and 24, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 25, 26, and 27 at page 13. Those support that clauses 25, 26, and 27, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 28, 29, 30, and 31. Those support that the stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 32, 33, 34, page 16. Those support that clause 32, 33, and 34, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 35 and 36 at page 17. Those support that the stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 37, 38, and 39 at page 18. Those support that stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 40 and 41 at page 19. Those support that stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 42, 43, and 44 at page 20. Those support that the stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 45 and 46. Those support that for clauses 45 and 46 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 47, 48, 49, and 50. Those support that clauses 47, 48, 49, and 50 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 51, 52, and 53 at page 24. Those support that clauses 51, 52, and 53 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 54, interpretation. Those support that clause 54 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 55, that's citation. Those support that clause 55 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those support that schedules 1 and 2 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support that the explanatory memorandum stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Short title. Those in support that short title stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support that the long title page 1 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. We go to the next one, which is an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. Dear colleagues, those in support that clause 1 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in support that clause 2 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3 at page 3. Those in support that clause 3 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 4, 5, and 6. Those in support that clauses 4, 5, and 6 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 7, 8, and 9. Those in support that clauses 7, 8, and 9 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 10, 11, and 12. Those in support that clauses 10, 11, and 12 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 13, 14, 15, and 16. Those in support that the stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 17 at page 13. Those in support that clause 17 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 18 at page 14. Those in support that clause 18 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 19 and 20. Those in support that clauses 19 and 20 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 21, we have two 2 of those. So the second one should be 22. Those in support of clauses 21 and 22 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 23, 24, 25, and 26. Those in support of clauses 23, 24, 25, and 26 at page 18. Stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 27, interpretation. Those in support of clause 27 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 28. Those in support of clause 28 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in support of clause schedules 1 to 3 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum at page 28. Those in support of the explanatory memorandum stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title. Those in support of short title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Long title at page 1. Those in support of long title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. We'll now take the last one, which is act to provide for the protection of the identity of officers, agents, sources of information, informants, and method of operation of national security agencies. Clause 1. Those for that clause 1 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those for that clauses 2, 3, 4, and 5 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6, 7, and 8, and 9. Those support that clauses 6, 7, 8, and 9 at page 3 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 10, 11, 12, and 13 at page 4. Those support that the stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 15, 16, and 17 at page 5. Those support that the stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 18, 19, 20, and 21 at page 6. Those support that the stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 23, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 at page 7. Those support that the stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 27 at page 9. Those support that clause 27 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Schedule. Those support that schedule at page 9 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum at page 10. Those support that explanatory memorandum stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title. Those support that short title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The long title at page 1. Those support that the long title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Senate Leader.
Mr. Chairman, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate reverse to plenary for the chart to report progress.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, those in support of the prayer that chair now report progress say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Dear colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the National Agricultural Seed Council Bill 2018 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 20 as recommended, 21 to 40 as recommended, 41 to 54 as recommended, Schedules 1 and 2 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. It is a true reflection of what transpired by Committee of the Whole. Very well, thank you. Further, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of Nigeria Bill 2018 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 10 as recommended, 11 to 20 as recommended, 21 to 27 as recommended, Schedules 1 to 3 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Very well, thank you. And finally, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the National Security Agency's Protection of Officers' Identity Bill 2018 and approved as follows. Clauses 1 to 10 as recommended, 11 to 20 as recommended, 21 to 26 as recommended, Schedule 1 as recommended, short title as recommended, long title as recommended. Again, is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Very well, thank you. Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the bills be now read the third time.
Majority Leader and Solomon, you can move the two of you can move the motion.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the leader. As a second.
Dear colleagues, those in support of the motion that this bills be read third time, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Agricultural Seed Council and for related matters 2018, third reading.
Dear colleagues, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact the National Agricultural Seeds Council and for related matters 2018, third reading taken and passed. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, CILT, of Nigeria, with responsibility, among others, for determining the standards of knowledge, skill, and qualifications for persons seeking to become registered professional and practitioner in logistics and transport in Nigeria, and licensing and regulating the practice of logistics and transport in all ramifications and for related matters 2018, and licensing and regulating.
Dear colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport of Nigeria with responsibility, among other things, for determining the standard of knowledge, skill, and qualifications for persons seeking to become registered professionals and registered practitioners in logistics and transport in Nigeria, and licensing and regulating the practice of logistics and transport in all ramifications and for related matters 2018, third reading taken and passed. Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the protection of the identity of officers, agents, sources of information, informants, and method of operation of national security agencies from unlawful disclosure, and to protect its establishments, facilities, and equipment against unauthorized access, and to provide for the promotion and enhancement of national security and for related matters 2018, third reading.
Dear colleagues, an act to provide for the protection of the identity of officers, agents, sources of information, informants, and method of operation of national security agencies from unlawful disclosure, and to protect its establishment, facilities, and equipment against unauthorized access, and to provide for the promotion and enhancement of national security and for related matters 2018, third reading taken and passed. Thank you, distinguished colleagues. We had to accelerate the process of passing this bill because, as you know, these are House bills that have already gone through the legislative process, and I believe it has been well considered. So here is for us for concurrence, because we run a bicameral parliament, and in the spirit of cooperation, we have to do this. We just do hope in the words of James Manager that the House need to reciprocate. So thank you so much. Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Tech Fund on the Federal Polytechnics Act Cap F17 Amendment Bill 2018. Distinguished senators will recall that the report of the committee was laid on Tuesday, the 24th of October, 2017. Mr. President, we wish to invite Senator Jibrin Barau, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Mr. Barau.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Barau Jibrin. I represent Kano North in this distinguished and respected Senate. Mr. President, may I move that this August do consider the report of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Thetford on the Federal Polytechnics Act and for other related matters 2018 SB 241. Mr. President, I so move.
Senator Deleke.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Senator Adebola Nuruddin Adeleke Oshunwes, I hereby second.
Dear colleagues, those in support of the prayer that Senate do not consider this report, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Senator Jibril Barrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the report on the Federal Polytechnics Amendment Bill 2017 SB 241. Introduction. The Federal Polytechnics Amendment Bill 2017 SB 241 was sponsored by Senator Malam Ali Wakil, MNI. Mr. President, during the debate on Wednesday, 20th October 2016, the Senate deliberated on the general principles of the bill. During the debate, senators commended the sponsor of the bill for coming up with the proposed legislation as it sought to address the call to reposition the Nigerian polytechnic system to enhance the quality and relevance of polytechnic learning and foster employability of the graduates. After extensive debate, Mr. President, on the general principle of the bill, it was read the second time and referred to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and Thetford for further legislative action and to report back its recommendations. The Federal Polytechnic Act 1976 was originally conceptualized within the framework of a lean economy and a non-globalized world. The President, the Act was amended in 1967, 1993, and in 2004. Despite these amendments, Mr. President, the Act is still replete with structural flaws and archaic provisions. This is particularly so because over the years, the advancement in technology have made factories to become more automated, and industries have become more knowledge-driven. Mr. President, these have brought to the fore the shortcomings of the existing Act. Equally, the pressure of a robust and complex economy and a globalized learning environment demand a fundamental review of the Act to reflect contemporary realities. Mr. President, the core areas intended to be strengthened by this present amendment are functions of each polytechnic, the structure of the governing boards, the academic boards, and the management, as well as the tenure of principal officers. The President, the bill is also intended to formally schedule 9 federal polytechnics, which had hitherto not been included in the existing law in previous amendments. Committee's recommendation. Committee's consideration of the bill. The committee held meetings and the public hearing and public hearings where the various stakeholders in the education sector were in attendance. The public hearing was well attended and all the stakeholders were in agreement with the intent of the bill. The outcome assisted the committee in scrutinizing the bill. Committee's recommendations. Mr. President, in making a case for this review of the Federal Polytechnic Act, we have compared the extant Act with the laws establishing the institutions in other tiers of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. That is, these are the universities and colleges of education, which are clearly more suited for tertiary institutions. The committee has therefore made recommendations as captured in the foregoing tabular report. Conclusion. Mr. President, the suggested amendments reflect the content of the laws establishing universities and are intended to realign the laws of the polytechnics to suit the operations of contemporary technical education institutions. Among other things, the passage of this amendment bill will relieve polytechnics of the encumbrances inherent in the subsisting act and make the institutions more efficient and functional as institutions of higher learning. Mr. President, the committee therefore recommends that the Senate do approve the recommendations and expresses its profound gratitude to the entire Senate for the support it has always rendered to this very, very important committee. Mr. President, I say so. Thank you very much.
Right. In the absence of any comment, Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I move that the Senate resolves into committee of the whole to consider the fourth clause by clause.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the Senate reverts to the committee of the whole to consider the report. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, in support of the prayer that Senate do resolve the committee of the whole to consider this report, say aye. Those against saying the ayes have it. Dear colleagues, this is a straightforward bill. Those in support that clause 1, start part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 2. Those in support that clause 2, start part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 3. Establishment and constitution of each council. Those in support of clause 3 to start part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4. Visitation. Those in support that clause 4 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 5. Tenure of office of the registrar. Those in support that clause 5 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 6. Director of each polytechnic. Those in support that clause 6 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 7. Deputy rectors. Those in support that clause 7 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 8. Other principal officers of each polytechnic. Distinguished colleagues, those in support that clause 8 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, James, Dr. Manager.
Go well. We have just received this report, and because of the importance of the bill, because this is the foundation for polytechnic education in this country. And before the eyes transfer what is there to the brain, you have already gone to the next one. And so it is difficult. This is not concurrent, so it is difficult because you are now transiting from the concurrence to the main bill. So I will, you are trying. There's no doubt about the fact that you are trying to make a difference between this one and the last one. But please try a bit more for us. Thank you, sir. Yes.
I've slowed down the inputting the question. So, and if you want to take us back, this is a bill so that I don't have problem going back. If you discover anything, we'll go back. So, passing the bill is painstaking, so I'm not in a hurry. Clause 8. Let me put it back. Let me put back the question. Those in support that clause 8 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 9. Selection board for principal officers at page 8. Those in support that clause 9 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The next is clause 10, which is the application of the Pensions Act. It's at page 9. Those in support that clause 10 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 11 is the establishment of the academic board. It's at page 9 as well. Distinguished colleagues, those support that clause 11 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. We're now at clause 12 at page 10. Removal from office of the members of the council and director. Dear colleagues, those in support that clause 12, those in support that clause 12 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 13, the vesting of property of the Kaduna Polytechnic. Senator Jubre, why did you separate, isolated Kaduna Poly at clause 13? Why was it isolated? I thought you were dealing with all the polytechnics. All right, I've seen the further amendment at 13.2. All right. Distinguished colleagues, those support that clause 13, stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. No, these are polytechnics that doesn't have any statutory backing. They were just established without any law.
Mr. Chairman, with due respect, the Polytechnic, the Federal Polytechnic in Okana, in my place, I brought the law here. It has not yet been passed, and it's not mentioned here. It doesn't have statutory backing. It's not there.
You can look at page 12. This is the Federal Polytechnic Okana. Second to the last. Look at page 12. Have you seen it?
All right, are you satisfied? Okay. Dear colleagues, those in support that clause 13 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 14. Those in support that clause 14 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Schedules 1 and 2. Those in support that schedules 1 and 2 stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum. Those in support that the explanatory memorandum stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Short title. Those in support that short title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Long title at page 1. Those in support that long title stamp out of the bill say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. distinguished colleague, Senate leader.
Because if you leave it the way it is, these polytechnics that have been named, if you leave it the way it is, that means it will have been locked. You cannot, if the other ones that are coming later, if for any reason any other polytechnic comes, so there must be, in my view, a provision to accommodate these other ones that will be will come in later. Because as it is now, it's locked up. You cannot admit new polytechnics again, federal polytechnics again, because the way the bill is structured. This particular provision, I think it's on page 12, where Senator Fabio saw his polytechnic mentioned, but the way it is now is locked up. I want Chairman to explain, sir.
State leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues. Mr. Chairman, I want to concur with what Senator Johnson Manager said, and I think within this week complain about this bill, because the way the polytechnics are put into one bill means that every time we have to establish a polytechnic, we have to bring back this bill, and that is going to be, I think, totally unnecessary. We should have each polytechnic, like the universities, be established by a law, so that it's easy. Anytime you have a new one, you don't have to bring this bill. Otherwise, this bill, we have so many polytechnics requests. So this bill, by the time it is signed, or even before it is signed, it will have to come back. It's repetitive. Maybe we should task our committee on tertiary education to look at, let's have a standard where all the polytechnics will be established by individual laws like the universities are. And this also applies to the federal colleges of education. They are also lumped in one act, and therefore they will go through the same thing. Thank you, sir.
Sir Jubril.
Well, I think they put forward a very cogent suggestion. We can add a proviso, like you said, that maybe the last something that any other university to be established in the future, something like that. Maybe we can couch it legally and get it put there in a way that it will not cause any problem. If that is done, I think there's no problem about that, because if any polytechnic is established tomorrow, this law has to be amended in order to get it into this very legislation. So what he said is true. What he also said is true. It's a very good concern. So we can couch, the legal department can look at a very good proviso to be included at the end of this table.
Well, whatever is worth doing at all should be well done. I think it's better to suspend this at this stage. Let the committee and probably other senators go back, have a reflection, and know the appropriate place that meant, so that we don't create this kind of bottleneck. So because if we rush it and pass it now, we may run into a problem. And we can't do the third reading unless we get that amendment. It's only at the committee of the whole that this amendment can take place. So that's my candid suggestion. Okay. Senator Wakili.
Your Excellency, sir, as the sponsor of the amendment, I think it's very simple. We can propose that XY and any other polytechnic established by the Act of the National Assembly. No, an addition after the listed polytechnics, what that will accommodate any other polytechnic coming with an act of parliament.
We need to examine it more thoroughly. We need to. In fact, it may not even be necessary to put the names of the polytechnics. We have to expunge all of them so that this applies to polytechnics. So these are principles which are not attached to any particular polytechnic. So I think it's safer. So, Jubril, you may have to go and look at it. And I'm sure there are people in the education sector here, including the Senate leader, who can also help in helping us to find a lasting solution to this place. So consider the aspect